Cervantes and Don Quixote, Two Adventurers, by Susana Briando. The adventures begin. From the very beginning of his life, the famous writer Miguel de Cervantes lived a life of action and adventure. He was born in 1547. He was the fourth child of a surgeon. His father traveled all over Spain to find work, and the family went with him. As a small boy, Cervantes saw many different kinds of people and places. Even as a small boy, Cervantes lived a traveling, adventurous life. Because his family moved so often, Cervantes was in school only for a short time. During those few years in school, he began to show that he could write well. He wrote a poem honoring the death of Queen Isabel of Valois, wife of King Felipe II. Although he had little schooling, Cervantes used what he learned in school and on his travels to become Spain's greatest author. Servant, soldier, and prisoner. In 1570, Cervantes went to Italy and worked in the house of a cardinal, but he wanted more adventure. So Cervantes joined the Spanish army in Italy. The Spanish and Italian armies were fighting against the Turkish army. Cervantes fought bravely in many battles. At the Battle of Lepanto in Italy, Cervantes was badly wounded. He lost the use of his left hand forever. In 1575, after fighting in other battles, Cervantes headed home to Spain. On the way, the ship was captured by pirates from Algiers, Africa. The pirates held Cervantes as a prisoner in Algiers for more than 5 years. That experience was very hard for Cervantes. Home again. After 5 years as a prisoner, Cervantes finally was freed. A group of friars paid a large amount of money to free Cervantes. When Cervantes returned to Spain, he had no money. He took a job as a tax collector to help pay the bills. The government used the tax money to pay for Spain's great fleet of boats, the Spanish Armada. When the Spanish Armada was defeated, Cervantes lost his job as a tax collector. Without his pay from the tax collection work, he struggled to pay his bills. He applied to leave the country so that he could travel to the Americas. His application was denied. Finally, Cervantes began to write to earn money. He wrote novels, plays, and poems. Most of his work was not successful. Related words. Related words often are words that have the same root but slightly different forms and meanings. Apply and application are related. Apply is a verb that means to seek permission. The suffix shun changes a verb into a noun. Application is a noun that means the process of applying for something. Can you find words related to the verb collect on this page? Cervantes writes a masterpiece. Cervantes struggled as an unknown writer for many years. He was even thrown in jail for not paying his bills. Finally, in 1605, Cervantes published the first part of his masterpiece, Don Quixote. Cervantes was inspired to write this very famous, great novel by his travels and the people he met. He used the adventures he had as a boy traveling the Spanish countryside. He also used his experiences as a young servant, soldier, and prisoner. The book was a great success. It soon was translated into other languages and read all over Europe. People loved Cervantes' humorous story about a man who thinks he is a knight on quests. Cervantes published a second part of the story in 1615, continuing Don Quixote's adventures. The story of Don Quixote. Long before Cervantes was born, many people believed in chivalry, the code of knights. Knights were soldiers who fought for kings long ago. Many stories were written about knights who were brave, courteous, and loyal. Cervantes lived in a time when people began to doubt or make fun of stories about knights and their quests. In Don Quixote, Cervantes wrote about the ideas of chivalry. Don Quixote is a man who lives long after knights and quests were gone. Yet he decides to become a knight, searching for quests, doing the right thing, and honoring his lady. People around him think he is crazy. Even the man who agrees to be his squire, Sancho Panza, doesn't believe in the quests. Don Quixote is a fool. He fights windmills instead of giants. He loses every battle he enters. Don Quixote is not like a real knight. Don Quixote and his squire, Sancho Panza, are two of the main characters in the novel. In this picture, Don Quixote has been knocked off his horse by the moving sail of a windmill. In the story, Don Quixote's damsel is Dulcinea, his name for a poor farm girl from the countryside. Don Quixote speaks complicated love poems to her that she doesn't understand. She is even a little scared by his crazy talk. Cervantes could have just made Don Quixote a joke and a criticism of knights, but he didn't. Although the story character is a fool and a madman, Don Quixote also is truly chivalrous. He is brave, courteous, and loyal. He is loyal to his lady and his squire. Don Quixote bravely enters battles, even though they are truly dangerous. He is courteous to everyone he meets. Don Quixote is a true knight in his heart. Dulcinea, Don Quixote's lady, is another main character in the novel. Compound words. Countryside is a compound word. It is made up of two words, country and side. Knowing the meaning of the small words in a compound word helps you to understand the compound word. Can you find other compound words in this book? To help you understand the story and humor of Don Quixote, perform this skit with your classmates. It is adapted from the beginning of Cervantes' original story. Don Alonso becomes a knight. Characters: Don Quixote, or Alonso. Niece, housekeeper, innkeeper. Village woman, village man, other villagers. Props: books, armor made of cardboard, sword made of cardboard, horse, cardboard head and stick, soup spoon or ladle, cup with long handle. Scene 1. Alonso Quixana's library. Alonso, searching in books. Niece, where is my book about knights' names? Niece, running into the room. What, uncle? Alonso, I am going to be a knight. I am looking for a new name. Niece, sighing. Oh, uncle, can't you just read about knights? Housekeeper, entering the room. Can't you be a farmer like everyone else? Alonso, no, no, no. I am going to save Spain from evil monsters and rescue damsels in danger. Ah, here is my book. Quibble, queen. No, no. Ah, yes, Quixote. I shall be Don Quixote de la Mancha. Help me put on this old armor. Niece, rolling her eyes. I guess if you stay inside and nobody sees you, you won't hurt anyone, will you? Don Quixote, waving his sword. Only evil men and monsters need fear me. Housekeeper. Well, at least everyone in our neighborhood is safe. Exits. Niece. Don't go outside, uncle. You'll get too hot in that armor. Plus, I don't want the neighbors seeing you. Exits. Don Quixote, to himself. Don't go outside. How am I to fight monsters? How am I to become a real knight? I must go find another lord to make me a knight in a special ceremony. To my horse. Exits. End Scene 1. Scene 2. A village inn. Don Quixote. What is that I see in the distance? A castle. At last I have found another knight who can make me a knight. Innkeeper, coming out of the inn. Hello, sir. How can I help you? Don Quixote. Greetings, fellow knight. I am hungry. Might I stay with you? Innkeeper. confused. Knight? What? Well, come in. The stew's hot. Don Quixote, bowing. You are too kind, O noble knight. Innkeeper. Yeah, right. Well, I have a table and some stew here. Is there anything else I can do for you? Don Quixote, on his knees. I wish to be a knight, so that I may fight evil. Please make me a knight. Village woman. Is he all right? Village man. I don't know, but look at his outfit. He thinks he's a knight. Isn't that the crazy Don Alonso Quixana? Innkeeper, kindly. Sure. I'll make you a knight. Let me get my sword. Leaves, returning with a large spoon or ladle. Village man. Is the innkeeper crazy too? Village woman. Hush. He's just being nice. Innkeeper, grandly. I dub you, sir. Don Quixote, whispering reverently. Don Quixote de la Mancha. Innkeeper, right. Don Quixote de la Mancha. Don Quixote, rising. Thank you, good knight. I am off to fight evil. Innkeeper, wait a minute. You must pay for the stew. Don Quixote, shocked. What? Knights never worry about money. Innkeeper, laughing. Okay, but you better get yourself a squire who can worry about money and can take care of you. Don Quixote, right, my good lord. I know just the man, Sancho Panza. He will be my squire. Thank you all. Villagers and innkeeper, joking but kind. Farewell, good night, Don Quixote. End scene 2. Scene from a Broadway play inspired by the adventures of Don Quixote. Many artists painted and sculpted Don Quixote and Sancho Panza. Don Quixote, then and now. Miguel de Cervantes died just 1 year after the second part of Don Quixote was published, but his name and his work live on. Not only did people of Cervantes' time love his writings, but people from all time since then have loved Don Quixote. It has inspired a ballet, an opera, films, a musical play, and many works of art. Miguel de Cervantes' book, Don Quixote, makes people laugh, think, and even see themselves in the characters and themes. We laugh at the crazy adventures of a madman who thinks he is a knight. But we also wish there were more people who believed in courage, loyalty, and devotion. These complex themes are what make Don Quixote one of the world's greatest books. Talk about it. Number 1. Describe some of Cervantes' adventures. Which one is the most interesting to you? Tell why. Number 2. What ideas about life did Cervantes express in Don Quixote? Write about it. Number 3. Imagine that Don Quixote asks you to be his squire. On a separate sheet of paper, write about an adventure you might have with him. Where do you go? What happens? Make a story plan to organize your ideas before writing. Extend language. To show that something belongs to someone, we use an apostrophe and an S. If the word is singular, knight, then an apostrophe and S are added to show ownership. Knight's horse. Find examples of words or names with apostrophe S throughout the book.